Hey, I'm Jeff, and this is Clutch City Chatter. As I stated in my first video, I am a Houston sports fan all around. I love the Houston Astros, Houston Texans, and the Houston Rockets. And so my priority right now is going to be the Houston Astros because it's coming to the end of the season, and they're aiming for the World Series, and I think they've got a legitimate great shot at getting to the World Series. But it's really exciting also because it's football season, and while, there's not much high expectations for the Houston Texans, if you're a fan, you just can't wait to see them play. As far as the NFL Network goes, they're not big fans of the Houston Texans apparently, because I was only able to find 2 games, preseason games that they showed of the Texans. And of course I watched those and enjoyed them, but you can't get too excited about preseason games. Although the Texans were undefeated in preseason, so I mean, it doesn't mean anything really, but in a way it does. It's got to increase their confidence. It's got to give them a little bit of a boost heading into game 1, knowing, hey, we've played pretty good all preseason. Why can't we carry it over into the real season? In just a couple of days, the Houston Texans open up their season against the Indianapolis Colts in Houston at noon on Sunday. And so I'm going to get you caught up on who is expected to start for the Texans this year. The quarterback, of course, will be Davis Mills, who's returning for his 2nd season after a pretty successful rookie season. Of course, last year he didn't start off the season as the starter. That was Tyrod Taylor. About halfway through the season, Davis Mills took over as the starting quarterback. And I, for one, was pretty impressed because I wasn't expecting much from him. And then at running back, we have a little bit of a surprise. Dameon Pierce, rookie Dameon Pierce, was chosen to be the starter. And he had an excellent training camp. And so we'll have a rookie running back as our starting and focus running back. Our wide receiver class are all returning members of the Texans. Brandon Cooks will be the right that's hard to say, right wide receiver. And Nico Collins, in his 2nd year, will be the starting left wide receiver. And in the slot, you have Chris Moore. Our starting left tackle is also a little bit of a surprise because many expected him to be traded before the season started, and now it appears he will not be traded. And that's a good thing because he's one of the top 5, 6 left tackles in football. He's still overpaid, that's for sure, the crazy contract they gave him. But Laramie Tunsil will be starting at left tackle. At left guard is Justin McCray. I'll be real honest, I don't know much about Justin, so I'm not going to say anything. But he is our starting left guard. Starting at center for the Texans is Justin Britt, who is returning for his 2nd year with the Texans. At right guard, you have A.J. Cann, someone else that I'm not familiar with. So we'll just have to watch him together, see how he plays. So I believe we have 2 strong tackles in Laramie Tunsil and Titus Howard. And returning as your starting tight end this year will be Pharaoh Brown. Pharaoh had some amazing catches and runs after catches last year. He was pretty exciting to watch. He also had some real blunders, so he was, developing still, I guess you could say. But I expect him to have a better season this year than last year, and that should be pretty good. I don't believe Pharaoh Brown, though, has a lock on the starting position. I think that it'll be split evenly, pretty much 3 ways. The Texans really are high on one of their draftees from a couple of years ago, Brevin Jordan. Brevin Jordan made some spectacular plays the last several games of last year, and so he's definitely going to see a lot of playing time this year. And in the last week, the Texans added O.J. Howard, a tight end who was drafted by the Buccaneers a few years ago in 2017 and has also played with the Buffalo Bills, and I was surprised that he was cut by the Bills and signed just about a week ago to the Texans roster. And honestly, I believe that he will probably become the starting tight end after he's been here for a few weeks to really get the system down. And it's believed that he will be much better in the Houston Texans offensive style system. than what he's been in with the Bills and the Buccaneers. So expect some good things from O.J. Howard. On defense, the Houston Texans have starting one defensive end, Jonathan Grenard. Grenard had a up and down season last year, but overall it was pretty good, and they expect him to get even better. Many predictions have Jonathan Grenard getting at least 10 sacks this year. So double-digit sacks is expected this year of Jonathan Grenard, and if he achieves that goal, then it'll be a successful year for him. At defensive tackle, you have Roy Lopez, who this is his second year with the Texans. He was a rookie last year, and he far exceeded the expectations of him last year. And so I can look for him to continue to improve. I think he's going to become one of the better defensive tackles in the league. He has such a high energy level, high revving motor, always going. And that's great to see. It's something that all NFL players should have but don't have. The other defensive tackle for the Texans is Matrika Collins. At the other defensive end position, you have a veteran of the NFL, but this is his first year with the Texans, a Houston product, Houston native, Jerry Hughes. He's very excited to be playing in his hometown. He's had a couple of down years, a little bit, I guess you could say, with the Buffalo Bills. But he's really excited to be back home, and as some people are predicting, double-digit sacks for Jerry Hughes. The Texans' weak side linebacker is Camus Grugier-Hill. It's kind of difficult to say, but you'll hear his name called many times throughout every game. He makes plays. This is his second or third year with the Texans. Don't have it right in front of me, but he's not new to the team. He had a good season last year, heard his name a lot, and so expect him to continue to play great. Camus Grugier-Hill, your weak side linebacker. Middle linebacker, Christian Kirksey. This is Kirksey's 8th year in the NFL, on second with the Texans. Christian has a nose for the ball. He seems to be around the ball all the time on defense. He's a great player. This is his second year with the Texans. And I hope to continue hearing his name called during the games because he makes plays, and I expect that to continue. Strong side linebacker for the Texans is Neville Hewitt, and I'll be honest, I don't really know anything about him, so let's watch him and see how he does, and hopefully he'll be a great player for the Texans. The left cornerback for the Texans will be Steven Nelson, who's been in the league for 7 or 8 years. He's more or less just an average cornerback. I have to say I think he's probably the weak link in the secondary for the Texans. Hopefully he'll prove me wrong, but we have some, I think, elite defenders in the secondary other than Steven Nelson. Strong safety for the Texans will be rookie Jalen Petrie. Petrie is out of Baylor. He's a rookie. He was drafted in this past draft at number 37. And the Texans expect him to be their starting strong safety for many years to come. He's a hard-hitting safety, good in coverage. I am excited to see him play. At free safety, the Texans have Jonathan Owens, who the last couple of years has been on the team, off the team, and the practice squad back and forth a few times. I think he's most notably known for his girlfriend, Simone Biles. Actually, I think fiancée now, Simone Biles. So the Texans have named Jonathan Owens as their starting free safety. And I know in the preseason games, Jonathan Owens played great. I think they were not expecting him to take over at free safety, but he has, and so I expect good things from him this year. It'll be exciting to watch him, and you'll, I'm sure, see many glimpses on camera of his girlfriend Simone Biles. Starting at right cornerback for the Texans is a player that the fans seem most excited to see, watch, evaluate, and expect great things from this player. That would be Derek Stingley, the number 3 pick overall in last year's draft. I know that there was a lot of hope by many Texans fans that the Texans would have drafted Ahmad Sauce Garner instead of Derek Stingley Jr., But I think that people will be surprised. Those people will be surprised just how good Derek Stingley Jr. is. I expect him to be a shut-down corner for the Texans this year and for many years to come. And so we're excited to watch Derek Stingley Jr. as he starts at right cornerback. And at punter, the Texans bring back Cameron Johnston, who had a great year last year. I think that he hopefully will not be punting as much this year as the Texans have had to in the previous last couple of years. So Cameron Johnston is returning as the punter for the Texans, as is the Texans kicker Kaimi. Sorry, I have a hard time saying the name. Fairbairn. Fairbairn is in his third or fourth year. He has become one of the better kickers in the NFL. Fairbairn has been the Texans kicker since 2016, and he signed an extension in 2020, so he'll be here for several more years. Last year, he was pretty phenomenal. He, for one, hit a 61-yard field goal. I had never seen a kick that long before, at least not a made one. Fairbairn did miss 3 games last year, so his attempts were down, of course. Actually, it was the fewest attempts in his career. He only had 19 attempts. He was right at about 80% made. So it's not the best, but it's pretty good. And like I said, he made a 61-yarder, so the Texans feel like they're in field goal range, basically, when they get just barely past midfield. So that's a good thing. And starting again this year for many years has been John Weeks as your long snapper. He's been with the Texans many years. He's excellent long snapper. Teams like to have the continuity of long snappers, so most teams do try to sign their long snappers for long-term contracts. And like I said, he's been with the Texans for a long time and probably has just a few more years to play. John Weeks will be the long snapper for the Texans. Now, I'd like to talk about someone that I'm extremely excited to watch. I've only got to see him in highlights and a little bit of his college career, and that would be running back Dameon Pierce. He is an exciting player. Pierce was the 107th player drafted in the 2022 draft. There were 6 running backs drafted in front of him, so I believe that he will see that he has a lot to prove to the rest of the world, just how good he is. Pierce has a punishing running style, a very violent runner. He bulldozes defenders, but he also has quick feet and great vision. You'll see him make some sharp cutbacks. He's very exciting to watch. In some ways, he reminds me, I know I'm not saying he's going to be as good as, but in some ways he reminds me of Earl Campbell, the way he'll lower his head and his shoulder pads and just bury him into a defender as he runs over them, bulldozing them. Also, his cutbacks remind me a little bit of Barry Sanders. Tremendous vision and cutback ability. He's a small guy, but very stout. He's exciting to watch, and he has been named the Texans' starting running back, and I expect him to get by far the majority of the runs. So you should keep an eye on number 31 this weekend against the Colts. The Texans running back Dameon Pierce, number 31. And the other player that I'm really excited to watch is Davis Mills. I'm excited to see the growth that he'll have between his first and second year. I know last year when he started a few games early in the season, he was pretty bad, and then he was benched, and he got to watch Tyrod Taylor play for a few games. And when he came back for a second stint during the season last year, he was so much better. I think he learned a lot just by watching and being able to have more time study film, learn the playbook more. And I think that that's going to carry over to this year. I love his attitude. He never gets too excited when he's doing good. He never gets too down when he's doing bad. He's kind of level-headed. The team seems to really respect him as he was named one of the captains. They named 5 captains, which seems like a bit much. But it was Davis Mills, Brandon Cooks, John Weeks, Christian Kirksey, and Jerry Hughes were the 5 team captains this year. But going back to Davis Mills, I really enjoy watching him. He's a totally different, extreme opposite type of quarterback from Deshaun Watson, who I loved as a player. I loved watching Deshaun, but he was not the greatest stand in the pocket quarterback. He was great, eluding defenders as they're diving around him. But Davis Mills is the exact opposite. He stands tall in the pocket. Sometimes he needs to run and he doesn't, but he stands tall in the pocket. He's definitely not afraid of taking hits. And his form and the way he just stands in there against the pressure, he'll have defenders all around him. Reminds me, not saying he's as good as, again, but his style reminds me of Peyton Manning. Straight up, stand in the pocket, deliver sweet passes, beautiful spirals. Most of the time, they are right on the money. Last year, Davis Mills threw for 2,664 yards, which was a Texans record for a rookie quarterback, and he had 16 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. My prediction for the year, I think the Texans are going to end up with 8 wins and 8 losses, possibly 9 wins and 8 losses. But that's that's pretty good from considering where they've come from, the low depths that they've been in the last couple seasons, the horrible things that have happened to the franchise. That most of them they brought on themselves, although the Deshaun Watson thing was not their fault. But they were so low in the last 2 seasons. I think that this year they're on the rise. I think their attitude is completely different. I believe that they've setting in motion a game plan, drafting certain type of players, not just good players, but people that they believe are good human beings. That sets the right tone for a franchise. I've been impressed with Nick Casserly. I think he's doing a wonderful job in drafts. And this Sunday's game against the Colts, my prediction is that the Texans will come out on top with a victory over the Colts, 20-17. So that's all I've got for today's preview of Game 1, Texans-Colts, heading into Sunday afternoon. Hope that you will get to watch the game and enjoy it. I hope it is a good game. And I will be back soon with another video about the Houston Astros as we narrowing down to the end of the season with less than 30 games left. And the Astros are still in first place in the American League, have home field advantage throughout the playoffs if things continue as they are. And so that's the focus of my Clutch City Chatter channel. But I do talk about all Houston sports teams. And thank you for tuning in. My dog just jumped up here in my lap. There's my Pookie. Say hi. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the broadcast. I will see you next time. And remember, swing for the fences.